This Texas city is embracing the growth from Elon Musk and Tesla. And maybe it's something you should be putting on your radar. Jeremy Knight, the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. I came across this article and it was really interesting to me. It was talking about the metroplexes of Austin and San Antonio coming together. And they showed this really cool map about Houston and the size of Houston, the size of Dallas and the Fort Worth area. And it was an article basically about how Austin and San Antonio are coming together. And it was really talking about the areas in between San Antonio and Austin. And I thought that this was a really good opportunity to make a video talking about cities that were seeing a boom thanks to Elon Musk and embracing that. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Now, you're going to be hitting me up in the comments like, hey, Jeremy, what about Leander? What about Georgetown, Gerald, Hutto? Why are you talking about these areas in the middle? And I think it's really because there's one city in particular that has really embraced the growth. So we're going to talk about that. Before we go any further, which city do you think I'm talking about that's actually leaning in and taking all this growth? I want to hear from you because we're going to talk about 12 cities here in a second. And I just want to see which one you think is the city we're going to be talking about and why. So yeah, this article does talk about a lot of the manufacturing that's coming to Austin due to Tesla. So if you look at that, I mean, obviously you have the Boring Company, all the Tesla related stuff and Elon related companies, but then you have all these manufacturing companies for chip making and everything coming here as well to the central Texas area. And looking at this map, it's true. Like if you look, there is the string of lights between Austin and San Antonio is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, to give credit to the growing population in Austin, this was actually something that was being talked about for a while, that the fastest growing metroplex was between Austin and San Antonio. So this isn't something new, but the growth of Tesla and all these places is definitely pushing it further. What's interesting here is if we look at the growth since 2010, San Antonio's only gone about 9%, Austin 22%, New Braunfels 71%. New Braunfels is one of those cities I think is absolutely benefiting from the growth in San Antonio and in Austin. Because if you look at the prices in New Braunfels, so is this the one we're going to talk about? We'll see. The median for New Braunfels is 423, which is relatively, lower than the Austin area. The MSA for Austin's about 496. In the Austin area is 550, or Austin is 550, and you go look at San Antonio, it's 300. So maybe somebody doesn't want to live in San Antonio, but they want the benefits of being close by. New Braunfels has a lot of draws to it, so this is one of those cities I really like just in general. Then you have Bernie here. It's spelled Bernie. It's doesn't look like Bernie, looks like Bourne, but that's it. Cibolo grow 118%. I didn't know Cibolo was that big. We're gonna have to go check out Cibolo. Shirts, 36%. What's interesting about Shirts is that it's not close to Pants, Texas. I thought it would be close to Pants, Shirts and Pants. All right, bad dad joke. Anyway, Seguin, San Marcos, Lockhart, Kyle, 85%. Is that Kyle we're gonna talk about? Buda, 114% growth. And then look at this city down here, Dripping Springs, my new home, 224% growth. So of those cities, which one do you think I'm going to talk about? Drop a comment below. But I want to go through a list of what's coming to this city to see if you can guess it. Number one, Alliance Industrial just announced that they're bringing a 1 million square foot building. That's the size of 12 HEBs. If you're a Texas person, you love HEB. So they're going to have a state-of-the-art logistic facility, which is going to be about a $115 million plant, bringing 1,500 jobs. So this just was announced the other day. And like I said, the city I'm talking about has embraced the growth. Have you guessed it yet? So next is Redbird Flight Simulators. Now they build and manufacture flight simulators. So they're coming to this area as well. And then you have Sim1 North American, which is a manufacturer for Tesla. You also have Amazon that's here. You have Lowe's. Costco just announced that they're coming to this area as well. And Georgetown, Texas is getting a Costco too. And let's be honest, if you're getting a Costco, that means that your city is on the up and up. And they're very picky at where they put locations in because they don't want a location to fail. So it's interesting that this area is getting a Costco. Costco is getting a Costco because they're seeing the growth. Now, other companies that are moving here, ENF Technology Company, and then you have like Sovereign Flavors, which they do a bunch of different stuff, but they're moving from Santa Barbara to this area as well. And they're looking at putting a huge manufacturing plant in. So they're going to up their manufacturing. They do like like low carb cauliflower stuff and like beverages and stuff like that. So they're bringing that to this area as well. The Boring Company, yeah, the Boring Company is putting in a tunnel in here. Have you guessed this yet? So the Boring Company actually has the thumbs up to do a tunnel to go under a railroad track in this area. So that's pretty cool. And then you have a big manufacturing plant that's going to be going into the Plum Creek area. So if you've guessed the area yet, we're talking about Kyle, Texas. Because I had to tell you it was Kyle, Texas, because the next place I'm going to talk about, you're going to already know. But they're also getting the eyes of a lot of really great restaurants that are coming down there as well. On top of that, they're putting in a big mixed use facility on the west side where they're going to do, it's kind of like the Domain. If you've seen the Domain in Austin, a big outdoor shopping center. So what I love about what Kyle's done is they've embraced this. You know, we've had the mayor of Kyle on this channel before. It's a great interview. Him and I barbed back and forth about the necessity of parks and things like that. But regardless, what I love about what they're doing is they really are pushing for growth. Now you're probably asking me, Jeremy, if I'm gonna be buying a home, what should I be looking for? Well, this area is pretty popular because, like I said, the MSA for Austin's about 496, and on top of that, Austin's 550, San Antonio's a little less. But the price for this area is right or under $400,000, so you can get a pretty nice home. Now, the challenge you're gonna find with a lot of places in Kyle is the fact that the tax rate is kind of high. When I was searching around here, the cheapest I really found was like 2.55 for the tax rate. Now you can get, you know, not in a brand new neighborhood, and maybe you can get a little bit lower tax rate. Still, if you're looking at it, if you're at like a 2.4 tax rate and a home's at $400,000, I mean, you really are taxed between $7,000 and $9,000, which isn't bad. If you were in Austin, your house is going to be evaluated at $1 million. So there you go. You're like 20 grand a year for property taxes. So I really like the growth of this area. And if you're looking at investing, this is definitely one of the areas I'd recommend investing. If you're looking to move into the Central Texas area, I think Kyle is definitely one of those places. Now, I just purchased a property in Dripping Springs and in New Braunfels. So you're saying, why would you say Kyle over those two? I personally bought in New Braunfels because I like the schools a little bit better than the Kyle schools. If you go look at greatschools.org, the schools are not as rated as high in the Kyle area as they are New Braunfels. I actually liked New Braunfels just because they have a lot of attractions around there. I think the one negative for Kyle is they don't really have a lot of attractions, and maybe this is why the mayor of Kyle really wanted to push the parks, because once they have that little Domain thing, that's going to be like their biggest area for like people to come visit. Now, if you drive through Kyle, there's just like really no like big things. Like there's no big rivers to go through. People go to San Marcos for the rivers. They go there for the downtown. Kyle's downtown's really small, and they've kind of moved away from growing the downtown area into that like Domain area that they're building. Maybe Costco coming in will be the big draw for people to move to Kyle. I don't know. But if we're looking at other cities, I think that's kind of the con. If you're doing a pros and cons list for Kyle, I go the pros are there's tons of great jobs moving there, and it's only about 30 minutes to downtown Austin. Now, you're going to say, Jeremy, you're a liar, but right here, I do show that if you're going in rush hour traffic, it could be up to an hour and 5 minutes. That was of this morning. Now, I did in the video last week, we talked about that they're going to be putting in a toll road between I-35 and the 45 extension. So you are going to see maybe a little bit easier growth to downtown, or a little bit easier movement to downtown. It's only about 35 minutes to downtown if you're driving in non-rush hour times. Now, if you're trying to get to San Antonio, it's about 45 minutes, plus you're close to the outlets in Kyle. So what do you think? Is Kyle one of those places that should be on the radars? Would you like me to do another video talking about the areas to be investing and buying in just on the base for growth in the area? Let me know. We'll put that video out as well. We'll catch you in the next one.